Mastery TV, your source for inspiration, empowerment, and fulfillment. My name is David McLeod, and I am your Life Mastery Coach, as you can see by the sign behind me. And I'm also the producer and host of Life Mastery TV and a number of other programs that you can find out more about if you go to my website. Today, the topic is called The Truth of Who You Are. And I had originally planned to be sharing space on this topic with my mentor and friend, Chris Van Buren, but unfortunately he hasn't signed in and I haven't been able to connect with him. So I'm a little bit concerned that something may have happened to him. And what I'd really like to do is just invite some loving energy his way and just hope that everything is okay. And hopefully I'll hear from him soon enough to be able to figure out what happened. Anyway, I'm going to try and do this a little bit on my own today, but I'm going to ask you, if you have questions, to please feel free to put them into the chat box there on the, it's probably on the right side of your screen, I don't know. But yeah, just type in and you can send your message to anybody, and if I see them, I will respond to them. But meanwhile, let's just talk a little bit about this idea of who you really are. You know, the concept, the truth of who you really are. It may seem a little bit like an unusual title, because after all, many of us believe that we do know who we are. We go through life and we say things like, well, if I asked you, for example, who you are, you would say, well, I'm Bob, or I'm Joanne, or I'm Don, or you tell me your name. That's pretty normal. A lot of people do that. And yet, if I just paused a moment and I said, well, thank you for that, but who are you? Well, that would put you in a different space. You'd be answering, well, I guess I'm not really my name. The name is just something I use to help identify me in this physical world. But if I asked you a second time, you might say something like, well, I'm a man, or I'm a woman. Or maybe you'd say, I'm a teacher, or I'm a mother, or I'm a father, or whatever. You'd start now naming some of the roles that you play in life. And we could go through this process over and over again. As a matter of fact, in my book, A Life to Die For, which is going to be coming out soon in January of this year, I talk about a really wonderful process that's known as the repeated question game. And it's basically that. You find a partner who will sit with you for an extended period of time, and you take turns. So one person is the interviewer and the other one is the responder. And when you are the interviewer, you simply ask the question of your partner. You sit in a comfortable position in a couple of chairs facing each other, not too close that you're touching, but close enough that you can see each other clearly and close enough that you can kind of feel each other's energy. Anyway, the interviewer will say, who are you? And you'll just sit there as a responder and answer with whatever seems true in that moment. And it might be your name. It might be one of the roles you play. It might be something else. Who knows? But the beauty of this is, once you've answered, the interviewer will then say, thank you. And then ask the question again with a slight variation of tone or voice volume or something along that line. And what happens is, after a while, you notice as the responder in yourself that you're peeling away little layers of yourself. You're slowly uncovering, getting down to that beautiful nugget of truth that's underneath all those layers. And what's really interesting, I've done this game many, many times. I've shared it with people, I've led it in groups, and I have sat down and participated in it many, many times. And every time I do it, I always know approximately how the thing is going to go. But what really surprises me is sometimes some of the things I say about who I am just seem so astounding and so amazing. And so the whole process allows me to get deeper and deeper and deeper into the true essence of who I really am. And so I begin to realize that maybe I'm not this image that I believe about myself and that I present into the world. Now think about that for a moment. How do you present yourself in the world? I mean, are you always 100% authentic? Are you always the real you? Or do you perhaps succumb to, let's say, the manipulations of society and try to be nice, be friendly, behave. Have you ever noticed that phrase? Hey, behave yourself. I remember when I heard it, I used to think, well, what does that mean exactly? Behave yourself. And it took me a long time to understand that what it really meant was, oh, I want you to behave the way I want you to behave, not the way you think you ought to behave. In other words, don't be yourself, but be what I want you to be. And that is a constant message that we get from society. It happens everywhere. We're supposed to obey all the rules. We're supposed to conform. We're supposed to fit in. We're supposed to be nice. We're supposed to behave. We're supposed to do all these things. And most of us, and maybe even all of us, do it some of the time, if not most of the time. And consequently, what happens is we get so caught up in that pattern of showing up the way other people want us to appear, or the way we think they want us to appear, that we really forget about who we really are. And that, I think, is one of the biggest tragedies, really. Because what happens is we forget. Hey, who am I? I don't know. I've forgotten. And the thing is, if we could remember who we really are, our lives could change overnight, and instantly, as a matter of fact. The moment you understand who you really are, the true essence of that being that's deep down inside, and not the masks or the costumes or any of the other things that you present to the world. The moment you get back to that, you start to settle in and realize, oh yeah, that's who I am. Oh, that's what I am. That's how I am. And that awareness, once you get there, is liberating. And not only liberating, but inspiring and motivational, and something that can really make your life that much better. So, the objective for you is to reclaim the truth of who you really are. Now, who you really are, and I'm going to just say this because I may know this about you and you don't quite know it yet, or maybe you don't believe it, but I believe that you are a divine, magnificent, spiritual being of light and love who just happens to be having and sharing this human experience with a lot of other similar people. That's what we all are. And the other part of it is we're all connected. We're all connected in a way that we don't even really understand. I mean, we know it at a very deep level about our connection. We know about this concept of oneness, and many of the world's leading religions, and certainly a lot of the philosophies of the world, teach us about this concept of oneness. And what's more, even quantum physics is starting to come around to this way of thinking, because we're all essentially made of the same stuff. So how could we imagine that we are so different and so separate from one another when in fact we're all connected energetically? And since we're all connected, that means we know each other very well. It's an inescapable conclusion. You have to understand that. And once you understand that you are one with everything, and that you are no more or less important than anybody else, then your whole life can change. And so the truth of who you are, that divine, that spiritual, magnificent being of just of pure light and pure love, when you understand that, you realize what you can do with that energy. I mean, you can create pretty much anything you want because you are one with the whole universe. So you have access to all that energy. You can bring it to play, and you can do amazing things. Now, as I talk here, and I know I probably look like a talking head, and I probably am a talking head at the moment, because I think that, I normally I would have a partner here to converse with, but because I don't have that today, I'm just trying to come from my heart and trying to share with you what seems to be true for me. But, I see somebody has posted a question. Let me just check that out here. Finding our own self is the only way to connect. Oh, I totally agree with that. Thank you, Susie, for bringing that up. Connection comes from knowing who we really are. That's true. And when you know who you really are, that is, you're part of this whole wonderful, massive universe of all that is, you can reconnect to the truth of that knowing, and you can share it generously with others, because there's an infinite supply of it. There's an infinite supply of you. Even though your physical body may not have infinite lifetime, there's an infinite supply of you. Your energy exists forever. It exists before you were here. It exists after you're here in this physical world. This is just amazing, wonderful, beautiful truth that we can all really align with and bring into our awareness and carry into our daily lives. So I was about to say that sometimes it's because we get caught up in our daily life and we have all these dramas going on, and people wanting things from us, and our jobs that we have to do, and all of this stuff. It's easy to kind of lose sight of the connection that we have, and to forget what we really represent. And so what I'd like to do is help you maybe a little bit to remember who you really are. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is just, bear with me for a moment. Just close your eyes. I hope you have. If you're driving, don't do this, please. But if you are present and you are able to sit in a quiet place, please just sit down and close your eyes and just allow yourself to take a few deep breaths. Nice, quiet, gentle, deep breaths. In and out. And just slowly allow yourself to relax. And as you relax, just feel the energy in your body, maybe slowing down a little bit. Let go of all of the things that you expect of yourself, all of the work, all of the jobs, all of the roles. Just let go of all that for a moment. You can come back to it afterwards. But for now, just let it go. Release it. And draw your attention inward. As you inhale, imagine that there's a beautiful, white, warm light just coming into your body. Nice, warm, loving light. Feel that energy just coming in and warming you in a most beautiful way, and filling all the nooks and crannies and crevices of your inside body, illuminating everything inside. Just allow that to happen. And as you keep breathing, that light just goes deeper and deeper and deeper into your body, going past all the tissues and all the bones, all the tendons, all those physical things, and down into the essence, the true essence of who you really are. Just feel that light coming in and illuminating you. Just feel it, enjoy it, allow yourself to expand as that light comes in. And in fact, notice that you may even be feeling lighter. And I don't mean lighter as in more illuminated, but lighter as in less weighed down, less brought down by the weight of the world. Just allow yourself to feel that lightness. So you've got both illumination and lightness happening at the same time. And maybe you can even see yourself expanding even further to the point where you're kind of outside your body and you're just pure essence, nothing more. And as you do that, notice that you can just gently rise above your seat. You just lift gently out of your seat. Lift gently a little further up through the ceiling or whatever room you might be in or whatever. Excuse me. And just allow yourself to rise, maybe like a balloon, but that has no boundaries on it. And as you rise higher and higher, notice that you can see more and more of the world. And because you are able to see the world, you can see so many things. You can see them, you can smell them, you can feel them, you can taste them. And just experience that for a moment. And as you rise higher and higher, you can see more and more, not only of the Earth, but also of the other planets and the solar system. And maybe you rise so high that you're outside of the solar system and you can see all of the Milky Way. And just imagine how beautiful that is. Here you are, just a part of everything. And you can see everything. You can feel everything. You can experience it, knowing that you're perfectly safe. And as you rise even higher, perhaps you go beyond the galaxy and into places of the universe that maybe nobody's ever been before. And just notice what that's like for you. And you have that capability. So feel it. And allow yourself to stay present to it. And notice how much you expand and grow. And notice how full you are. Now, what an amazing place to be. And from this place, knowing that you've left your body behind and you're really not on the earth anymore, who are you? Who are you in this place? Who are you? And what can you be doing in the world to bring that essence, that authentic, true essence of yourself, more fully into the world? Because you are this incredibly unlimited, magnificent, divine, spiritual being of light and love. So feel that energy. Feel it. And embrace it. And hold on to it, knowing that it is who you really are. It is not some imaginary thing. It is what you really are. So take a moment or two to just really experience that feeling. And when you're ready, just allow yourself gently to descend again, back down, slowly, through the cosmos. Down, down, down again. And it may not be down, maybe it's up, who knows. But anyway, you're moving in a direction toward the earth, your temporary physical home. And as you do so, you can see all the stars and the moons and the planets and everything that's out there. And you just feel yourself, that beautiful essence, that unlimited essence, moving back down again until eventually you could see the earth. You start lowering yourself. You get closer and closer and closer and back to the place where you started. And so now, as you descend down into the room or the place where you were before, you can feel your body relaxing into the chair or whatever place you were. Just notice that feeling. And that energy that's within you is still there. It has never left. And maybe now you can look inside, while you're in your physical body, you can look inside and you can feel that light energy and notice that it has a particular color or a particular texture. Or maybe it has a special message for you. I invite you to notice those things. Notice what this energy is telling you and just embrace it and love it. Perhaps it's saying to you, I love you just as you are. Perhaps it's saying something else. So here we have gone through an experience of reconnecting to the truth of who we really are. After this show is over, I would recommend that you take a little time, maybe to journal what you learned and to bring the true energy of who you are more fully into the world. What do you think would happen if everybody on the planet could reconnect to this true energy of who they really are? I mean, we have a dozen people or so on this show right now listening to this episode live. And you are having that experience. How many ways could we change the world if we could just share this exact same experience with other people? Get the whole world to experience this. I have a fantasy that the whole world would change overnight if everybody really reconnected to the truth of who they are. That's my belief. And I also know that we still have to live in this physical world. And so sometimes we have to deal with what's going on in the physical world. And if we can do that from a place of love and from a place of knowing who we really are, then I think we do ourselves and the whole world a big, big service. I think this is critical. I think this is important. And I thank you for going through that little process with me. It's nice to be able to do something like that. I haven't done that for a while on a show like this. So I see we got a number of people here on the call. Would you like to just give me a little in the chat? Just give me some indication of what your experience was like. I see Susie saying, "I'm smiling." Well, I hope so. I hope so. Smiling is good. Smiling allows you to get connected to that true energy. You ever notice that, how you lighten up when you smile? You know, it's pretty hard to stay angry when you got a smile on your face. It's pretty hard to stay depressed when you got a smile on your face. That's what I've noticed. This has been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to have my guest on the show. I don't know what actually happened for him, and I just hope that he's okay and that there are no health problems or life-threatening situation going on. And so I'm inviting us all from this place of knowing who we really are to just send out some loving energy to Chris Van Buren. And I'm going to say thank you all for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure and a real joy for me to go through this process with you. I'd like to remind you that you can watch recordings of this and all my other episodes on my website at lifemasterytv.com. That's life-mastery-tv.com. And I'm going to just remind you all to recite for yourself the Life Mastery Mantra. And it goes like this. This is something that you can practice anytime you like to. I gratefully forgive the imperfect being I have been in the past. I gratefully accept the magnificent being I am right now. And I gratefully welcome the evolved being I am becoming in each and every moment. Love, light, and blessings to you all on your journey. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time on Life Mastery TV.